cool as fuck. The real Willy Wonka.
Who knows better than an astronaut the critical importance of convenience when you're orbiting planet Earth at 17,000 miles per hour at an altitude of,
God damn, we're gonna see a video about space.
give or take, 150 miles. That guy would be the dude who invented Tang, and he was way more than a one-hit wonder. So,
Tang.
Today, dig into the life and work of William A. Mitchell, who helped create some of your favorite childhood food, snacks, and drinks. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, leave a comment and tell us what other food-related topics you would like to know more about.
You said
Okay,
pre-moon?
get ready.
I'm not
This
saying, I
video
didn't say
is
shit,
gonna
bro.
rock your world.
I didn't say shit. Is y'all talking about it, not me.
Mitchell, one of the most inventive food developers of the 20th century, began life in rural Raymond, Minnesota. Born in October 1911, he spent his youth working on a farm, picking peas and beans and packing melons. As a teenager, he worked nights babysitting the sugar crystallization tanks for the American Sugar Beet Company, then sleeping 2 hours before getting up for school.
That's
Carpentry
crazy.
work paid his tuition to Cotner College in Lincoln, Nebraska, where he earned an undergraduate degree. He then graduated with a master's in chemistry from the University of Nebraska. After college, our budding young chemist was working at the university's agricultural experiment station in Lincoln when the lab exploded with him inside.
What?
Fortunately for him, and for you Pop Rocks fans, he survived, but had second and third degree burns over most of his body.
No way.
Mitchell taught high school for a bit and did a stint at the Eastman Kodak Company. Then, just before the start of World War II, launched a career at General Foods Corporation in White Plains, New York, where he would work for more than 35 years until his retirement in 1976.
Damn. Tang?
Mitchell's first...
Bro, this shit used to be like crack. I remember when my mom bought one of these and we made like, we put the water, we put the mix in. Bro, this shit was busting in summertime, bro.
Notable achievement at General Foods came during the war. Supply line disruptions of cassava root in the Pacific.
Damn, my age is really showing, bruh. Yo, my age is really showing. Nah, that shit was delicious. And I'm talking about the 90s, bro. Like, not even the early 2000s. I'm talking about the 90s. I remember drinking that shit.
Had led to a tapioca shortage.
That shit was sweet as
No
fuck.
could live without their tapioca. Not our troops. So Mitchell developed a substitute. The invention, a combination of starches and gelatin, satisfied hungry, pudding-loving soldiers who gave the new substance the nickname Mitchell's Mud. High praise. Incidentally, in 2021, a similar supply chain disaster unfolded in our nation when again, tapioca used to make boba or bubble tea was stranded in shipping containers during the pandemic. Unfortunately, Mitchell was not around to help resolve that near tragedy. In 1957, Mitchell and a colleague at General Foods developed a fruit-flavored, vitamin-enhanced powder they called Tang Flavor Crystals, which mixed with water created a citrusy beverage you didn't have to
Squeeze, unfreeze, or refrigerate.
Bro, isn't that just basically all, like, that sounds like emergency. Basically. It sounds like emergency. You could get an orange emergency, it gives you vitamins, and it gives you a little bit of carbonation in your shit.
Convenience at its finest, even if it didn't glow in the glass.
Glow?
Marketed in 1959 simply as Tang, it sold slowly at first. Maybe due to the glow factor, maybe the marketing.
One glass always leads to another. Drink.
Nah, it's not even, yeah, it is the marketing. Like, look how ugly this label is. Instant Tang breakfast drink. I don't want to buy this shit. This shit look like a spice. The packaging, dude.
The glow factor, maybe the marketing.
One glass always leads to another. Drink Tang, gang. It's Tang-erific.
But in 1962, NASA adopted Tang as the official drink of the Mercury and Gemini missions. The promotional folks at General Foods recognized an opportunity, especially when it blazed into space before their very eyes, and they made the most of it. Sales in 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition really took off.
The astronauts do some things you do. In space, they drank Tang.
Tang was useful in the space program
Come on, man. They're like, hey, bro, astronauts drink Tang, so you should drink Tang too. Fuck them astronauts.
because it helped mask the metallic taste of the water on board the spacecraft. Today, the drink is sold in a variety of flavors.
Man, just because they drink Tang.
And generate sales in the hundreds.
You said Retro about to say something?
$100.
I ain't saying nothing about the moon. Y'all want me to check? Y'all want to check off that bingo card so bad. I'm not saying nothing about the moon.
But the question remains, did the astronauts actually drink Tang? Did they like it? John Glenn was
Yo, that's the funny part. So they don't even know if the astronauts actually like Tang. And before the astronauts were like, man, this shit was nasty as fuck.
committal about his fondness for the beverage. But years later, Buzz Aldrin boldly went where no man had gone before and proclaimed, Tang sucks. Obviously never having sampled the buzzed
This shit is ass.
Aldrin, a lively cocktail made of vodka, Tang, grenadine, and club
Oh
soda.
my god.
Again, maybe he has tried it.
This shit is ass. Tang sucks.
If Tang turned a day-glow spotlight on Mitchell, his next invention, or rather, his invention in progress, would make him famous, or as famous as a food chemist might ever expect to be. But it would take a
Heisenberg
while.
rocks.
Rewind to 1956. Our intrepid chemist was working on developing an instant soft drink. We were trying to make a carbonated beverage powder that would taste good. Mitchell recalled in a 1979 interview with People magazine, we wanted to put carbon dioxide directly into a solid. The soft drink idea, essentially a sparkling Kool-Aid, flopped. But while formulating his
Sparkling Kool-Aid sounds crazy. That shit sound crazy.
beverage bubbles, Mitchell made a critical discovery. The powder, when he sprinkled it into his mouth, popped. Oh man, he exclaimed to people in his grooviest 1970s intonation, it snaps, it fries. You don't know where it's coming from. He patented the substance in 1961, calling it a gasified concoction. Okay, to be fair, no one ever said Mitchell was a marketing genius. The gasified concoction sounds like...
I used to always be scared with these candies where I used to think to myself, I'm like, what if you eat like just a fistful and you put it all in your mouth at once? I used to think that it would just blow your mouth up. That's me as a kid, though. I used to be like, damn, if this shit blows my mouth up and my jaw's just gone, I'm gonna be pissed.
Like it could be anything from a combustible black bean chili to a gleaming twin-finned Chrysler. The product gathered dust on the R&D shelf for more than a decade before General Foods released it in 1974 as Pop Rocks.
Hey, what's happening?
The cracklin's what's happening.
The crackling is what's happening. We're eating crack rocks.
There's bags of the bite.
The company had a hit on its hands. Fruit-flavored hard candy pebbles that snap, crackle, popped when you put them in your mouth.
Taste as sight.
Kids and stoners especially love them.
Stoners?
More than 500 million packets were sold between Pop Rock's debut in 1974 and 1979, according to the article in People. And all without a word of advertising, according to a spokesperson cited in a Washington Post piece. But the product also presented challenges. For one, the gasified crystals activated at 85 degrees or higher, which is, of course, why they popped when deposited on the tongue. Because of this, General Foods said Pop Rocks couldn't be distributed in places with an average temperature above 85 degrees.
Wow.
Sales were suspended in the summer for the same reason. And because the carbonation dissipated over time, shelf life was limited. The gradual rollout of the product across the country and its temperature-dependent availability created a bit of a black market for Pop Rocks. Stories circulated of opportunistic consumers in cooler climes hoarding the candy.
What is this
and then bootlegging
image?
it to areas where it wasn't available.
Come on, man.
Earning huge profits.
What is this
Products
image?
selling for 25 cents a bag and say,
Bro, it's like, you know how Twitch sometimes makes a random thumbnail of your stream? Watch, I feel like that's gonna be the random ass thumbnail that they're gonna put on my shit. That was so random.
Minnesota might fetch 50 cents or $1 in Miami. Remind you of anyone? There was also the story of an explosion on a delivery truck when its Pop Rocks payload overheated, blowing the doors open.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
General Foods confirmed the incident. And then there was Mikey. If you're of a certain age, you can't forget the commercials featuring the fickle, freckle-faced kid who hated almost everything, but who loved Life cereal.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Well, somehow a rumor began circulating that poor little Mikey had died, killed by a stomach explosion after eating several packets of Pop Rocks.
That's silly, bro. His stomach blew up.
And downing a six-pack of
Chat, I can't believe it's December 7th, bro. I'm mentally still at no cap like October. We cooked.
Coca-Cola. Even in the pre-internet era of the 70s, the Mikey rumor spread like wildfire.
Well, supposedly, your stomach and your intestines, everything burst.
Really?
And Mikey wasn't alone in his tragedy. Apparently, tens or hundreds of adorable, innocent children had met their demise in similar gut-wrenching,
No way, really? Kids died?
intended ways. Of course, Mikey was fine.
Alive and well and working as an ad executive
Are they lying?
in New York City.
But General Foods was forced to act. In 1979, according to an FAQ on the Pop Rocks website, the company
Oh, he wasn't a victim, so it was all a lie.
bought full-page ads in 45 major publications throughout the country to combat the rumors and assure consumers that Pop Rocks were safe. The company set up a hotline for worried parents, delivered 50,000 letters to school principals across the U.S., and even sent our friend Mr. Mitchell on a damage control tour.
Damn.
There is no danger, Mitchell told People magazine, noting that the amount of gas in Pop Rocks is less than 1/10 the amount in a can of soda. The worst thing the rocks could do is make you burp. But the urban legends would not die, and so Pop Rocks had to.
He's gonna explode! Somebody call 911!
General Foods pulled the product in the early 1980s.
Yo.
By the end, we were forced
He was
to destroy
gargling.
tons of the candy, said Marv Rudolph, a product developer for Pop Rocks in the 70s. We literally buried it in the ground. If you thought that would be the last you would hear from Pop Rocks, knock, knock, knocking on the coffin lid, you would be mistaken. The product was resurrected. It was eventually licensed to, then purchased and manufactured by, a Spanish company, Zeta Especial S.A. These days, if you find yourself in the right establishment, you can satisfy your craving for
Yup.
combustible candy in the form of cocktails,
True.
ceviche, and any of a number of other imaginative dishes whose capacity to delight is limited only by the creativity and/or depravity of the chef.
Is that Pop
Even
Rock
one of our
chicken?
most venerable institutions,
Nah.
Taco Bell, engaged in a flirtation with Pop Rocks. The sprinkles they used for their effervescent burrito garnish were known as cayenne popping crystals. But we know what they were. We know.
Pop
And we
Rocks?
will always be grateful that we can say we lived in a time of Pop Rocks. May you never re-die and never be reburied. You might think that with the invention of Tang and Pop Rocks, Mitchell might be content to rest on his laurels. But our convenience-minded chemist was just getting into the zone. In the late 60s, apparently dissatisfied by the time investment required of people to make a Jell-O with a whipped cream topping, Mitchell set out to scientifically speed up the process. Sweet and savory versions of gelatin have been around since the 17th century. And
Oh.
Jell-O, the brand name dessert, was first sold in 1895.
Yo, they used to sell Jellos or make Jellos with like fruits in them. Them shits look nasty. I would never eat them shits. It's like, remember like in Christmas time, like now, I remember when people used to give out fruitcake. I'm like, who the fuck eats that? Fruitcake is nasty. I never liked fruitcake. You say you never had a fruit cup Jello? When I was a kid, yes, but I was never a fan of it. I didn't like it.
But the process of making Jell-O took time.
You like
It required
you like
dissolving the
fruitcake?
gelatin powder in hot water and then waiting 2 to 4 hours for the Jell-O to
You don't
set.
fuck with fruitcake?
In
Hell no.
1967, Mitchell patented a version of the powdered gelatin dessert that could be mixed with cold water and set in 30 minutes, paving the way for instant or quick-set Jell-O.
It's a dragon
Around
fruit
the
Jell-O.
same time, Mitchell, apparently fed up with all the time and energy wasted whipping air into cream, developed a ready-made dessert topping. No whipping required. Behold, Cool Whip has become one of our most iconic
From
convenience
Family Guy.
brands.
Cool Whip.
Non-dairy whipped topping.
Cool Whip.
It has a real fresh taste.
Cool
One of
Whip.
Cool Whip's most important benefits was that it could be frozen. So it was
Is
easy
that
to ship.
Raven Simone?
One of Cool Whip's most important benefits was that it could be frozen. So it
I
was
think that's
easy to
Raven
ship.
Simone, bro.
Within 2 years of introduction, it became the most profitable product in General Foods' Bird's Eye line. Initially, Cool Whip was marketed as a dairy-free dessert topping.
It's Cool Whip.
It's not Grandma's homemade topping.
Cool Whip non-dairy whipped topping tastes as fresh as homemade.
Today, though, one of the product's ingredients is skim milk. So during that period in the late 60s, Mitchell's was very clearly in his groove.
Hey, yo. What does Cool Whip even... Cool Whip. What does that shit even taste like? Does it taste like whipped cream? I know somebody in the chat gonna be like, you never had Cool Whip? Just tell me what the fuck it tastes like, bro. Does Cool Whip taste like whipped cream? I'd assume, yes. Kinda, sorta. Like that motherfucker dipped a cookie in Cool Whip. I never seen somebody do some crazy shit like that. I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of barbaric.
Known as name, grandmas all
You
over
dipping
the
a
world
whole
have
cookie in a
making
tub of
Jell-O
Cool
and
Whip?
topping desserts even faster, ever more convenient.
What the fuck? You saw that big ass scoop? Yo, that was a helpful scoop.
For making Jell-O and whipped topping desserts even faster, ever more convenient.
That was like 1/4 of the container, my guy.
And forever cemented into our cultural hive mind as iconic best buds. William A. Mitchell
You could
received
freeze it
some
and eat it like
simple
ice cream. It
patents
has
for a
less
career that
calories.
spanned almost 4 decades. He retired in 1976 and died in 2004 at the age of 92 in Stockton,
Damn.
California, where
R.I.P.
he moved after retirement to be nearer one of his daughters, who, by the way, also became a food scientist.
Oh, that's cool.
Mitchell was a true inventor, wrote Marv Rudolph, a colleague at General Foods who wrote the book Pop Rocks, the inside story of America's revolutionary candy.
Nah,
The person who looks at
hold
problems
up. I didn't even know about him. So shout out to that guy. Because that guy definitely made a bunch of inventions that, like, you know, is still around today.
And can find elegant,
Dead at
sometimes
92,
simple
how young?
solutions that no
Nah,
one else
92, I ain't
considered.
gonna lie, that's a good
So
life.
What do you think? Food genius or food wizard? Let us know.
Candies that were pulled for being too dangerous. Of course, you know why? Because they're all Red 40 enhancers as well as these. Bro, I'm just dying for some Red 40 right now, bro. I'm dying. Check that shit off the list, chat. I'm dying for some Red 40 and Yellow 5, bro.